Hello everyone, myself Dr. S. Mohammed NAZEER. This class I am going to teach you macroeconomics. In macroeconomics, national income and related aggregates. Let's see some concepts. Concept of economic territory. Economic territory is the geographical territory administered by a government within which persons, goods and capital circulate freely. Okay, I repeat. It is the geographical territory administered by a government within which persons, goods and capital circulate freely. The above definition is based on the criterion freedom of circulation of persons, goods and capital. Clearly, those parts of political frontiers of a country where the government of that country does not enjoy the above freedom are not to be included in economic territory of that country. One example is embassies. Government of India does not enjoy the above freedom in foreign embassies located within India. So these are not treated as a part of economic territory of India. I repeat, the foreign embassies are not treated economic territory of India. They are treated as part of economic territories of their respective countries. For example, US Embassy in India is a part of economic territory of the USA. Similarly, the Indian Embassy in Washington is a part of economic territory of India. So, economic territory is the geographical territory administered by a government within which persons, goods and capital circulate freely. Now, the scope of economic territory. The economic territory is defined to cover the political frontier including territorial waters and airspace, embassies, consulates, military base, etc. of the country located abroad, but excluding those of other countries located within the political frontiers. Ships, aircrafts, etc. operated by the resident between two or more countries. Fishing vessels, oil and natural gas rigs operated by the residents in the international waters or other areas over which the country enjoys the exclusive rights. Okay, these are the what we can say the territory covers. Okay. Now, concept of resident. Resident refers to a person whose center of economic interest lies in the economic territory of a country in which he lives. Note that citizen and resident are two different terms. Citizen and residents are two different terms. This does not mean that a citizen is a not resident and the resident is not a citizen. I repeat, the citizen and resident are two different terms. This does not mean that a citizen is not a resident or a resident is not a citizen. A person can be a citizen as well as resident, but it is not necessary that citizen of a country is necessarily a resident of that country. I repeat, a person can be a citizen as well as resident. Okay, I am an Indian citizen, I am residing in India. So, a person can be a citizen as well as resident. But it is not necessary that a citizen of a country is necessarily resident of a country. Suppose my brother is a citizen of India, but he is residing in America. That's why they are saying that a citizen of a country is not necessarily resident of the country. A person can be a citizen of one country and at the same time resident of another country. For example, NRI, non-resident Indian. The NRI is citizen of India but resident of country which he lives. Citizenship is basically a legal concept based on the place of birth on the person or some legal provisions allowing a person to become a citizen. Okay, this is the concept of resident. So resident refers to a person whose center of economic interest lies in the economic territory of the country in which he lives. Suppose the Indian citizen residing in America. Okay, so that person's economic interest lies the economic territory, American economic territory. Okay, which he lives. Now, relationship between national product and domestic product. The concept of domestic product based on the production units located within the economic territory, operated both by residents and non-residents. The concept of national product is based on residents and includes their contributions of productions both within and outside of economic territory. Okay, the national product is a broad concept compared to domestic product. Normally, in practical estimates, domestic product is estimated first. National product is then derived from the domestic product by making certain adjustments. Let's see. National product is derived in the following way. National product is equals to domestic product plus residents' contributions to production outside the economic territory. Okay, he is a citizen. The citizen's contribution to production outside the economic territory. We have to include that. The non-residents, that is the non-citizen, the contributions to production inside the economic territory, we have to minus that. See, an Indian citizen, okay, he started his business in USA and earning that profit. So that amount we have to include. The residents, the foreign resident. So the citizen of Indian contribution to production outside the economic territory we should include in order to calculate the national product. See, a Korean company, Hyundai company is located in India, but they are earning the income. So the non-resident, okay, the non-citizen contribution to production inside the economic territory we have to subtract it. Okay, look here. In practical estimates, the resident's contribution outside the economic territory is called factor income received from abroad. The non-resident contribution inside the economic territory is called factor income paid to abroad. The factor income paid to abroad. So we have to include, we have to subtract that. Factor income received from abroad. Factor income received from abroad is added to domestic product because this contribution of resident is in addition to their contributions to domestic product. Factor income paid to abroad is subtracted because this part of domestic product does not belong to the residents. By subtracting factor income paid from factor income received from abroad, we get the net figure, that is net factor income from abroad. So we can simply say NFIA, net factor income from abroad. So in order to calculate the national product, first we have to calculate domestic product, then we have to add the net factor income from abroad. How we get the net factor income from abroad? This is the formula. Plus the factor income received from abroad minus the factor income paid to abroad. Now, industrial clarifications. All production units of economic territory into three broad categories: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Let's see one by one. The primary sector. Primary sector includes production units exploiting the natural resources like land, water, suboil, assets, etc. Growing crops, catching fish, extracting minerals, animal husbandry, forestry are some examples. The word primary means the first importance. It is the primary because it is a source of basic raw materials for the secondary sector. Now, secondary sector. Secondary sector includes production units which are engaged in transforming one goods into another goods. Such activity is called manufacturing activity. I repeat, the secondary sector includes the production units which are engaged in transforming one goods into another goods. Such an activity is called manufacturing activities. These units convert raw materials into finished goods. Okay, these units convert the raw materials into finished goods. Factories, constructions, power generation, water supplies are some examples. It is called secondary because it is dependent upon the primary sectors for raw materials. Now, tertiary sector. Tertiary sectors includes production units engaged in producing services, transport, trade, education, hotel and restaurant, finance, government administrations are some examples. The sector finds third place because its growth is primarily dependent upon the primary and the secondary sector. Okay. Now, factor income and transfer income. What is factor income? Factor income refers to income received by factors of productions for rendering factor services in production process. Land, labor, capital, organization. Land is getting rent, labor is getting wage, capital is getting interest, organization getting the profit. Okay. Transfer income. Transfer income refers to income received without rendering any productive services in return. It is one-sided concept. It is not included in the national income as it does not reflect any production of goods and services. I repeat, the calculation of national income, the transfer income is not included. It can be received either within domestic territory of a country or from abroad. Example, old age pension, scholarship, unemployment allowances, pocket money, etc. These are included in the transfer income.